and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly. You don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio. It's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Good morning, all, and welcome to a special edition of Youth on the Go, hosted by the Department of Youth. Before we get into our
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
Good morning, all, and welcome to a very special edition of Youth on the Go, hosted by the Department of Youth. I am Vijay Harinarain, Youth Development Officer, alongside Mr.
Pleasant good morning to the general public. My name is Lucian York, Youth Development Officer in the Department of Youth.
And today we are here to speak about a initiative and a very important topic that young people face in Nevis, and that is the issue of bullying. But before we get into the crux of why we are here, I would like to spread some information as it relates to upcoming youth activities. The Department of Sports will be having the Thinel Martin Cross Country Classic on December 6th. The department will also be hosting the Nevis High School Basketball Championships starting on November 20th. They are also hosting the primary school football competition, and games are played every Friday from 1:30 at the ETW Park. The finals will be played on December 5th. Also, we at the Department of Youth and Sports would like to congratulate Zacchaeus Smith for making it to the National Under-20 football team, and he will be traveling to Florida next week. Across the waters in St. Kitts, the Department of Youth Empowerment will be having or celebrating their Youth Month next month, November, and they have a list of activities on their calendar, some of which include a national bike ride on the 4th of November, a national youth empowerment march on the 23rd of November, and they will also be hosting an exhibition of student artwork under the theme Preserving Our Land of Beauty. And this exhibition will be held at the Cable Building in St. Kitts from November 9th to January 4th from 9 a.m. to 6 p.m. daily. Admission is free, and you can buy pieces after the exhibition. Also, I would like to recognize a few initiatives and events that are recognized in this auspicious month that we share that share the same month as Bullying Awareness Day, those being Breast Cancer Awareness Month, the Seniors Month, World Teachers Day, and Financial Information Month. Now that we've got that information out of the way, we can get into why we are here. And we are here to speak about bullying awareness. And our department has taken an initiative into introducing Bullying Awareness Day, which we would like to raise awareness on the issue of bullying. Bullying is a silent issue that many of us face, although we may not understand completely what bullying entails. Many young people face bullying outside of school, even as they progress through their later teenage years and early adult life. So bullying is the use of superior strength or influence to intimidate someone, typically to force him or her to do what one wants. It is also the use of force, threat, or coercion to abuse, intimidate, or aggressively dominate others. The behavior is often repeated and habitual. Children who feel bullied can feel like they are different, unpopular, powerless, and alone. Kids who bully others do it because they want to copy their friends, think that they are better than other children, or fit in. And this, I think at some point in all of our lives, we would have faced bullying, but there are different types of bullying, and I would now call on my colleague to enlighten you as to the different types of bullying that that we recognize.
Okay, we are quite familiar with most of the various types of bullying. We have verbal bullying, which includes name calling, teasing, also cyberbullying. This is one form of bullying that is quite active in our society today, especially in our schools, and more so the high schools. And this form of bullying is done using the internet and any social media platform. We also have sexual bullying, which involves negative words, touch, etc. Also, we have social or emotional bullying. Some of these examples are leaving persons out on purpose, telling other children not to be friend of someone, spreading rumors about someone. And I made a note here on my paper as it relates to spreading rumors about someone and also embarrassing someone in public. I find that these two are normally long-lasting scars of bullying. It messes with your mind, it plays on your mind, and you find that at the end of the day you have children walking around feeling less than, feeling as if they are not important. And so that's something we really need to pay attention to. You know, it's a little bit easier getting over being left out, right? And also not having everybody being your friend, because I mean, I think it's quite obvious that you actually won't have everybody being your friend. But as it relates to spreading rumors and embarrassing persons in the public, those are normally two hard pills to swallow. Also, physical bullying, hitting, kicking, pushing, tripping, and we also have taking or breaking persons' things, and also making mean or rude hand gestures. And I also went on to make a note at the last two, and I think specifically making mean or rude hand gestures. Most times we think that, you know, it's nothing, and we really don't understand that a lot of the hand gestures we make, they are actually quite disrespectful, and they mean a lot. And so sometimes you don't have to say anything. You really don't have to say anything in a day like today to hurt somebody. I mean, showing them a gun sign, stick up, you know, all of these different hand gestures can really hurt people hurt someone's feelings. And so these are the various types of bullying that we will be basically discussing back and forth today throughout the hour. And let me just say it early so that you can gather your thoughts. We are expecting you to call in and let us know what do you think, and what are some of the things you think should be done, could be done. What are some of the things you expect or you're looking for the Department of Youth to do, because we will surely take notes and act accordingly.
Thank you very much, Mr. York, for your elaborate expounding of the different types of bullying. And with those words being said, we'll take a short break and be back with more.
Sugar City St. Kitts, keep it sweet. Keep listening to Vaughn.
Good day to all radio listeners. In celebration of Bullying Awareness Day on October 26, 2018, this Bullying Awareness Tip for the Day will be brought to you by Curtis Clark, Senior Youth Officer and Counselor of the Department of Youth. Bullying can be defined as the use of force, threat, intimidation, or aggression that seeks to cause hurt or harm to another person or a group of people. This can be a single episode or repeated episodes. Some examples of bullying are kicking, uninvited touching, name-calling, and harassment on the internet. Bullying can occur in different settings such as school, work, the internet, and even at church. Be sure to arrest bullying, stop the madness, and try a little kindness.
Good day all, this is your Bullying Awareness Tip of the Day, brought to you by Stefan Joseph, Youth Development Officer. Some signs of a person being bullied are changes in sleep patterns, changes in eating patterns, has unexplained bruises and cuts, requests made to skip school, poor performance in school or work, mood swings, refusal to talk about what is wrong. This Bullying Awareness Tip was brought to you by the Department of Youth in collaboration with Vaughn Radio to commemorate Bullying Awareness Day on the 26th of October 2018. Remember, arrest bullying, stop the badness, try a little kindness.
And we are back, coming off of the expounding of the types of bullying. And one of the things that I would like to point out is the fact that physical bullying is the most common form of bullying that we are able to identify. Then there is verbal bullying and also social and emotional bullying. And we place great emphasis on eradicating those types of bullying because it's, as I said, easy to identify. However, just to touch on the sexual bullying, which is the repeating harmful or hurtful actions, they include vulgar gestures, uninvited touching, and sexual name calling, which of course we can't give examples of because they are very callous words. And I think I would not like for the radio station to take us out of here. But it is a very under-addressed issue. And I think that it is because many persons are scared to come forward because speaking about sex in general seems to be very much a taboo topic in Nevis. However, it is not right for someone to force themselves on you or to say disrespectful things or to make you out to be someone who you are not in general, but specifically related to sex. And this type of bullying is mostly geared towards women. And you would find that the slurs and the language used is generally geared towards women, or disenfranchising a woman's right to choose. And the other topic that we really would like to focus on more is cyberbullying. But before I go more in depth, I would like to encourage all to, in the last portion of this show, which will be between 9:45 to 9:59, we would like to encourage you to call in to give us your views on the topic and to share with us ways in which we can deal with bullying and ways to address bullying, because this is not an issue that we at the youth department or the Department of Education can deal with alone. This is a societal issue. This is an issue that has to be addressed in communities, churches, and in the home. And so we are really imploring you to speak up and have a voice and let us know what we can do to at least help. Definitely the department has done a lot in terms of getting the message out there as it relates to bullying awareness. But at this time, I would also like to thank the schools, because we've been having this program for about 3 years now. And in going to the schools yesterday throughout the islands of Nevis, they actually had different presentations planned. And if you would check out the Department of Youth and Sports on Facebook, you can see some pictures and some videos of presentations that were done in the schools, along with some persons who were showing support by way of taking a picture with our themed outline. So we implore you to check out the Department of Youth and Sports Nevis Facebook page to keep abreast of all that is going on. But again, we are also on Facebook. We are on Facebook Live, so I implore you to comment and let us know what you think. If you're so inclined, we would really like to speak about or address the dialogue that we are going to get, because, as I said, this issue is a island issue, not a specific department or specific person issue. And in order to eradicate something like this, we all have to work together to get rid of it.
And I'm happy that you said that, Vijay. I want to thank, I know Vijay said thanks to the schools. I want to say thanks to the general public who really participated, took just about 2-3 seconds to take a picture, which are already on Facebook. We had about 70-80 something persons doing that during the course of yesterday. In just doing that, when persons come across the picture, they understand that you are in support against bullying and you are also taking a stand. And as Vijay said, this is not just a department issue, it's not just a government issue, it's not just a school issue, but it's everybody's issue, from top to bottom. I mean, one of the things that I witnessed yesterday was that, you basically had to beg with some of the persons to just take a picture. I mean, I know some persons are just really camera shy. I mean, trust me, I can forgive you because I am camera shy, and that is exactly why I'm behind of the camera. But I mean, something like that I wouldn't have think twice,
Yeah.
because I understand what it is for, and I understand that while people may feel, oh, we had person saying, oh, you guys think that doing this is going to change anything, but I think it's a start, and raising awareness is important. Raising awareness is just as important as actually taking an action, and
Definitely.
like I said, it's the first step. And one of the things that really hurt me yesterday, I won't say who, but I remember we approached a pastor, guys, and I mean, quite frankly, the pastor was just standing up there, and then it made me thought about, this is why people would always say that the church are not doing anything. And one of the things we tried yesterday is to approach different persons. We tried to approach some people from the bank, so that you have people standing from
a cross section. Yeah, you have a cross section of the right.
Lawyers, and so of course we will want a pastor in between there. And the pastor said, "No, thank you." And I was thinking, what in the world is going on? I mean, as a believer, and like I say, it's not even like, oh, we stopped him, took him off of his journey, he had to take the boat or whatever, he was just there standing up. I mean, we took just about 20 to 30 pictures in that region, and he was just there, and I found it amazing. I say that to say, addressing bullying starts with all of us. It begins at home, it begins in the church, it begins in the school, and if each of us play our part, then there could definitely be a difference.
And that is very true. I think that the reason why persons may be averse to, showing support or even wanting to participate is the fact that, as I said in my introduction, most persons don't really understand the issue, and awareness campaigns is actually to enlighten persons as to an issue. But because bullying is a silent issue, many persons suffer in silence because they feel ridiculed if they come forward and say, hey, I've been a victim of physical abuse or emotional abuse, or etc., etc. Because in part, certain things that we were accustomed to previously when we were growing up, we've learned that some of these things are not acceptable. So persons would say, well, oh, he pushed you, well, hit him back. He tell you something, well, ignore him, or whatever. But we are coming to understand that these actions have an impact on us and how they direct our life. So my advice to persons is, open your mind, and even if you don't want to participate further than listening to what someone has to say, I think respecting others' opinions and respecting what persons have to say will go a long way into helping to build a society where we are free to share respectfully, and this in turn would help not only in bullying awareness but other issues that we face as an island, because again, the issues that we face are not specific to any one societal compartment. Like bullying is not specific to the Department of Youth, or it's not specific to education, it's not specific to one child. It's systematic. It's something that we've grown with, because we've told children that, listen, yes, somebody hit you, hit them back. Somebody call your name, tell them something. Come home, I tell my parent goes to school, and it becomes something big. Sometimes the parent of the bully goes to school and empowers the bully now because they have the backing of their parent. There's no stopping the cycle of bullying. There's no one stepping in and saying, hey, this is wrong. So in our awareness campaign, we are hoping to enlighten persons, and definitely we would like to know what can we do to further push our message in a way that maybe does not infringe, or maybe does not incite persons to think differently to what the message we want to go out there. So maybe some ideas as to how more we can go about getting the awareness campaign off the ground, that would be really nice. That has taken us to the second part of our show. So we're going to take a short break and be back with you in a moment.
All right, you're listening to the Youth on the Go program. It is now 30 minutes after the hour of 9 o'clock.
When VON vibrates, the whole Caribbean must shake.
860 AM, the Powerhouse.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go.
Good day to all radio listeners. In celebration of Bullying Awareness Day on October 26, 2018, this Bullying Awareness Tip of the Day will be brought to you by Lanisa Burke, Youth Development Officer within the Department of Youth. Getting physical is not the answer. Try to control your anger. Do not respond to bullying by getting physical. Doing so will likely get you in trouble and lead to more aggression from the bully. Instead, find other ways to be assertive by reporting the bully so that they can receive help. Remember, arrest bullying, stop the badness, try a little kindness.
And we are back with this special edition of Youth on the Go. And coming off of the discussion that we had, we would like to go into a form of bullying that is becoming very prominent here in St. Kitts Nevis, and I think in general across the world, and that is cyberbullying. And cyberbullying is the use of technology to harass, threaten, embarrass, and target another person. This includes posting rumors, threats, sexual remarks, personal information, or hate speech. And victims of cyberbullying have low self-esteem, increased suicidal ideation, and negative emotional responses. And the advent of cyberbullying can be likened to the fact that there has been an explosion of social media access across the world. And social media has given us a platform to express ourselves and connect with persons across the globe. However, there are some nefarious persons who use this platform to diminish and to hurt persons in a way that is spread across the globe. I mean, when you put something on the internet, it's there forever, irrespective of how much you may think that you delete a post or you delete a picture. It is always going to live on. We have so much capture technology right now, screen recording, screenshots, etc., that it takes one moment of madness to post something about someone to ruin their lives forever. And I don't think we understand how much this can hurt people and how much this alienates people. And I have a friend who told me that they don't think that cyberbullying is real because it's as easy as unfriending someone and blocking them. That is true. You can unfriend and block someone. However, if I choose to take your picture and edit it in a way that serves to embarrass you or ridicule you in any way, then unfriending and blocking you becomes void, because I mean there's nothing you can do to deal with that issue. And so one of the things that I want to touch on is the fact that we do have a freedom of speech and we do have a freedom of expression. And yes, we like to say, I have the ability to post whatever I want, whenever I want. And I'm not saying that I am someone who is a role model in terms of, you know, what I would post, etc., etc. However, what I would say is, with freedom of expression and freedom of speech comes responsibility. And that's what a lot of us, we don't like to speak about the responsibility that we should have when we have the freedom of expression or freedom of speech. So, Mr. York, apart from the advent or the rise of social media, what else do you think lends to more persons moving towards cyberbullying right now?
Well, one of the things, one of the most popular things that I've seen, and persons probably don't even consider it cyberbullying, but I think that it is a form of bullying, because you are now magnifying a situation that was probably only privy to 5 people, and then the world is able to see it. And we are seeing that whenever there's a fight, whether it's an adult fight, a fight at school, an argument, whatever, conversations, whatever it may be, we find that persons are quick to capture these things and then to post it, and not even post it to say, well, I think this should be stopped, we need to fight against this. It's always posting it so that people could see, posting it with some other sort of comment, which even makes it worse. But one of the things that I want to bring to the people's attention, Vijay, you mentioned earlier that it affects the person that this is done, this form of bullying is being directed to. But I also want to say to the persons who are doing these things, at the end of the day, while we have to deal with mending persons back, this is also breaking you. I mean, we are in an age where now you go for a job interview. I mean, even before you go for the interview, you apply. The first thing that most of the employers are doing now is to look on Facebook, just generally type in your name and see some of the ridiculous things that you have been a part of. Now this prevents you from getting a job. Not only getting a job, because somebody may say, okay, I have a job already, but it also prevents you, and it have somebody look at you in a different light.
Definitely. You
know, and you as you mentioned, as you rightfully mentioned, yes, we live in a territory where we are free to say what we want when we want, but I will stop right there and say not how we want. And I think that's one of the things that people don't understand. While we can say what we want when we want, we need to understand that we don't say it how we want. When we are posting these things, we need to be a bit more respectful. And I want to go back to the point that we basically ended on before this this segment, where it relates to where we were referring to the fact that bullying, everybody has a part to play. Now, Vijay, we have seen this form of bullying, cyberbullying, coming from adults right down to the littlest of child that can use these platforms, and we know how skilled our children are.
Yes, definitely.
But what I want to say before I turn back over to you is that if our politicians are doing this, if our politicians are using the same way and addressing the opposition or whoever it may be, using these platforms, what do we really expect from our children? What do we
Well,
expect from teenagers?
Let's not just single out politicians.
I'm moving.
There
I'm
are
moving
persons
along the line.
in society definitely who we look up to as role models, and they use social media in
Our
a way
parents.
that is not conducive.
Exactly.
It's not conducive to an environment where you think that you're expressing yourself in a way that is respectful. Personally, I think that the rise of cyberbullying, one of the main reasons why is because of the anonymity that the internet allows. Because it's easy to make a fake profile. You have a name that is not in any way related to you. You have a picture of something generic. And you go and you bash persons. You use it as a forum to disrespect and dishonor and really air out personal laundry or personal issues in a way that I mean, it's not even, I don't even know really what exactly the outcome is supposed to be when you choose to diminish someone in such a manner. Like, I personally don't find much credibility with persons who choose to share information under the guise of anonymity. Because for me, if you really have something to say, be brave. Say it from your personal, you know, from your personal standpoint. If I have something to say, I'm not going to go on Facebook and go on Instagram, make a fake profile to say what I have to say. I feel like I am someone who says what I think needs to be said in a respectful way, of course. But I do it under the guise of myself, so it lends to credibility. I personally don't find credibility in fake profiles. I think that it's cowardice, and maybe I will be attacked. Maybe, but I'm just saying that's me personally, and I think that one of the reasons why cyberbullying has exploded in such a way is because the internet provides that shelter for persons, and it's really sad that people use that sheltering for negativity. And you know, it's something that, as you said, we look at certain things and we say to ourselves, why are our youth like this? And we don't see that it's something that the adults or the persons outside of the youth bracket are practicing. I mean, when social media came about, there was this big backlash from the older populace. Oh, you young people doing all forms of craziness on social media. You post this, you do that, etc. But look at it now. The older persons are competing with the young persons to see who can do more damage on social media. And that cannot stand, that cannot make sense. You know, because you want us to look up to you. Provide an example. Be the example that you want to see. If you're going to raise an issue, then you must show me why. You know? And I think that we need to be more responsible online. We need to think about our actions as it relates to, I have no problems with, you know, sharing memes. I personally, for me, social media is a place where you need to be very particular with not only what you post, but who you add. Because there are some persons who any friend request, they accept, and then it becomes a means of gaining information to attack you in a way. And it goes back to the point where you were saying bullies, their social media profiling is now used to select persons for employment. And we don't see who is adding us. We don't think about who is adding us. And in a way, you go to an interview, you have an excellent resume, you do a great interview, but when they pull up your social media profile and they see certain things that you post and the manner in which you behave online, and it's not to say that it's just pictures that you share, but it's the dialogue that you have with persons, the type of rhetoric that you have, that it influences the choice of the employer. Because definitely you want someone who can represent your enterprise in a way that does not bring you into any form of disrepute. And so really looking at both sides of the issue, not just the victim. Of course, the victim has feelings and they are negatively impacted, but for the bullies, the persons who are the ones initiating this, they definitely need to look at the negative, because we don't really look at that, how it can impact them also.
No.
You know, and I think that the thought process behind it is, okay, well, I'm anonymous, but it's really easy to get that information. I mean, once you know what you're doing online, anything is possible. With those words being said, we're going to take our last break. I would like to implore you to call in and share your thoughts on the issue. Let us know what we can do, what you think about the topic, and we'll be back after this short break.
From Queen City, Nevis, this is the powerhouse of the Eastern Caribbean, Vaughn Radio.
Good day all. This is your bullying awareness tip of the day, brought to you by Vijay Harinarain, Youth Development Officer. Be confident. Be proud of who you are. Embrace all of the unique characteristics about yourself and find contentment in your own identity. Once you have practiced feeling good about yourself, practice how you would react to bullying in non-violent ways. Make sure you always show confidence in yourself. This bullying awareness tip was brought to you by the Department of Youth in collaboration with Vaughn Radio to commemorate Bullying Awareness Day on October 26, 2018. Remember, arrest bullying, stop the badness, try a little kindness.
It's time, come on, rise and shine. You know, I know we're gonna have a great time. And now we're past it quickly, you don't wanna miss it. So turn up the radio, it's Youth on the Go. Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Oh, let's start the show. Let's go, let's go, let's go. I will learn new things. I will be creative. Grab your gears, let's gather around. An adventure is always waiting. There's storytelling news for us, and we always know what's happening. We act, we play, we dance, we sing from 9 to 10 on Saturday morning. Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Oh, Youth on the Go. Whoa, let's start the show. Whoa, let's go, let's go, let's go.
And we are back for the final portion of Youth on the Go this week. The topic is bullying awareness, and we implore you to call in. The number is 469-1616 and 469-1700. Also, we are following on Facebook, and we would like to hear from you and to add to this discussion. As we end our show today, I would like to touch on another issue that I think we need to address, and that is the bully. And when I say that, I mean, when we think about bullying, we are inclined to only think about the victim. And when we look at issues in general, we have to stop thinking about the end, which is the victim, and we need to get to the root of the problem, which is the bully. And a lot of times you would find persons who are bullies to be persons that lack self-confidence, or they come from situations or homes where it is not positive. It's not something that, you know, it's not a conducive environment for someone to excel in. And one of the things that we need to maybe stray away from is alienating bullies, because they are coming from a standpoint where they feel alone, hence why they need to assert some form of power to gain a following or gain an advantage over someone, because they need an audience to justify them. So I would like to implore all to the way that we deal with bullies, we need to reassess the way that we go about it, instead of alienating them and making them feel more alone, or to compound their issues more by driving them away, to embrace them.
Yeah.
Let us get to the heart of the issue, because the only way that we can deal with issues is if we solve it from the root.
That's right.
If we keep dealing with issues when they manifest themselves in a way that we have to deal with symptoms, it's just symptomatic treating instead of the root cause, then we will forever be in a cycle of, you know, dealing with the same issues. We're just going to be trying to find different ways to treat symptoms instead of the root cause. So I would like to implore all, whether it be guidance counselors, teachers, persons in the community, pastors, whoever, to, if you see someone engaging in antisocial behavior or whatever, try to reach out to them. And if you can't reach out to them, try to point them in the direction of someone who can help them. And that's the next thing too. Sometimes we feel that we can't help people, but there's so much we can do to help by just saying, you know, you're going to someone in a position where they can help and saying, you recommend them to say, you know, I think there's this young man and he needs help, or there's this young lady, she needs help. And in that small way, you're doing something as small as that can help to eradicate the issue, some of the issues, especially related to bullying, to just go to a counselor and say, you know, I think maybe you need to talk to this person because they've been, you know, showing whatever. And the person doesn't even have to know.
Exactly.
You know, you don't have to go to them and tell them, well, it's me, I do it, you know. You can do it under the same guise of anonymity, but using that for something good.
Yeah.
You know, because we need to, as Mr. Isles is telling me, we are cutting off the branches rather than digging out the root, which is true.
That's right.
We are addressing the symptoms instead of the root. And so I implore all to please let us not only think about the victims of bullying, but also think about the perpetrators. Because if we don't deal with these issues from the root, then we will always be in a perpetual cycle of symptomatic treatments. It's no different to dealing with crime, bullying, any other issue that we face right now in St. Kitts Nevis. We have to begin to be proactive and get to the root.
From the root. And one of the things too, Vijay, as we are looking at this, is that throughout yesterday and, you know, in regularly talking with young people, persons that would have been tagged or labeled as bullies, you know, there is just always a way to reach them. The truth is not everybody can do it. And so we understand, and so that is where Vijay's point comes in. If you can just point that person to someone that you know can help, or you can go to the person who you know is trained or can help, and then say, hey, this is an individual, I've observed him or her, and I think you may be in a position to help. Because one of the things I have observed, and not just observed, but would have confirmed by talking to some of the people, you find that most times persons who are bullies today were bullied. And so it's now like payback. You know? And so if, like you say, if we can deal with this situation from the root, then it will be so much more easy.
Well,
you know?
Issues like these are cycles. They're cyclical. You have someone who is being bullied, and then they in turn turn into the bully, and the cycle repeats itself until it becomes never ending.
I have a question pertaining to that.
Okay.
Remember you said get to the root of the problem.
Yes.
But you're getting to the root of the problem by dealing with the bully himself or herself. What about remember you said that the bullies probably became bullies from things that happened to them. Maybe they were abused or in something like that. So what happens to the environment that the bully is in at that current situation? Because the guidance counselor could help the bully.
Definitely.
But then maybe she's not getting through because he or she goes back to that same bad environment that he comes from.
And that is why we are stressing that this issue is not education issue or Department of Youth issue or single person issue. It is a societal issue. You need to foster an environment where this person can flourish. So it is something that we find that you have persons that need help and they are getting help in some way, but when they are exposed to other areas or other facets of their life that help to mold them, it is not conducive for them to flourish. And they spend more time in those settings than in the setting where they're getting help. And so when we say that we need to address this in schools, in churches, in communities, in homes, we mean that. Because a child in those, especially the formative years, they pick up on things very quickly. You know, and so you have to wean them into you have to wean them into thoughts and into actions that help to dictate who they will be when they get older. Because if they see that I'm a bully, if I'm around a child and they see that I'm a bully and I'm getting away with it, and I bully them, then when they have the power, when they get to a size or at an age where they feel like they can be themselves, be a man for themselves, or be a woman for themselves, then naturally their inclination would be to bully someone else, because that is that's the cycle.
Yeah, that's what they know.
So the environment, of course, is very important, but we must not only think about the environment, one environment alone. It's the collective of the child. So going to school, in the community, at home, especially a child learns a lot from home. And we really need our parents to stand up and let us not think that what worked in that time is going to work now. I think we forget that we are a generation, this younger generation is exposed to so much. They are exposed to so much information. It's like information overload right now. So there are so much things that children learn now that for us, even us in the generation of the 1990s, we would have learned as we grew. But they're getting it now. They're getting it from a very young age. And so we need to be mindful of everything. We need to be mindful of our surroundings. And our time is running down, so I would just like to touch on ways in which you can stop bullying. First off, and very, very important, is to treat everyone with respect. You have to respect yourself first and then respect others. As long as you really, we say respect a lot, but we really need to understand what it means to respect yourself and respect persons. And when you understand that, it becomes easier to respect other persons. As the saying goes, the old saying goes, do unto others as you would like them to do unto you. I mean, it's very cliched and overused, but it holds merit still in 2018. If you don't like it for yourself, don't do it to anyone. Very simple. Another issue is to tell someone who can help. Try to reach out to them. And if reaching out to one person doesn't work, don't give up hope. Reach out to someone else. Talk to people. Let people know. Too much times you find that something happens, and sometimes it may be something very serious. And you only come to find out after the fact that something was happening because someone isn't speaking out. You know, so we need to be more open, share more, and share with persons who can help you. You know, be honest with yourself. Be honest with yourself and be honest with persons. If you be respectful, of course, but share. If someone is doing something you don't like or something that you feel infringes on you, respectfully tell them, I don't like what you're doing. There's nothing wrong if you say, I don't like this, I don't like that. And stand up to bullying. Of course, we don't encourage physical altercations. If you're seeing someone being bullied, we would not encourage you to because you don't know, in situations, they're very volatile, it can go left really quickly. However, stand up to bullying. If you see someone is being bullied, get help and get it ASAP. Okay, this brings us, as we end.
We have a quote. We just want to end with this quote. It is by H. Jackson Brown Jr. And it says, the best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today. The best preparation for tomorrow is doing your best today.
Thank you guys so very much for having us. We would like to thank Von Radio and a couple of our stakeholders, the Department of Education, the speakers who partnered with us to go into the schools to do bullying awareness presentations, and also the general public for helping us with our awareness campaign. Thank you guys very much. Do have a blessed Saturday and blessed rest of the week.